Emma grew up in a small town where most people knew each other. Her family was simple and hardworking. Emma's father, Mr. Collins, worked as a janitor in a big office building downtown. The building was very tall, with many floors and lots of people working inside. It was the office of a very rich company, owned by a billionaire named Richard Grant. Every morning, Emma would walk her little brother to school and then help her mother at home. Her mother took care of the house and cooked meals for the family. Even though they did not have a lot of money, Emma's parents always made sure their children had what they needed. They wanted Emma and her brother to go to good schools and have a better future. Emma was a bright girl. She liked reading books and learning new things. At school, she was one of the top students. Her teachers said she was polite and hardworking. But Emma never thought she was better than anyone else. She was humble and kind, always ready to help her classmates. Many of her friends loved her for this. Her father, Mr. Collins, had a difficult job. He cleaned the offices every night after everyone went home. It was not an easy job. Sometimes he had to fix small problems, like a broken light or a leaking faucet. He worked very late, often until midnight. Still, he never complained because he wanted to support his family. The building where Mr. Collins worked was owned by the Grant Corporation. The company was very big and had many employees. The boss of the company was Richard Grant. People in the town knew him as a billionaire, CEO who made a lot of money. He was powerful and respected, but not many people knew him personally. Richard was often described as a strict and serious man who did not like mistakes. At the office, Mr. Collins worked quietly and did his job well. He was polite to everyone and never caused trouble. But the office was a place where people were always busy and in a hurry. Sometimes the janitors and other staff felt invisible, like they did not matter much to the higher dash-ups. Emma sometimes visited her father at the office during breaks. She liked the tall windows and the quiet halls. The office was very different from her small home. She dreamed of one day working in a place like that, maybe even in the same company. She believed that if she studied hard, she could achieve anything. Emma's school had a career day. Different people came to talk to the students about their jobs. Emma listened carefully and asked many questions. She wanted to learn about business and leadership. After that day, she decided she would try her best to go to a good university and find a career in business. Her parents were proud of her dreams, saved money to help Emma with her education. They told her that the world could be tough, but with courage and kindness, she could succeed. Emma promised them she would never forget where she came from. As Emma grew older, she met Michael at university. Michael was studying business like her. They became close friends and then fell in love. Michael was from a well-known family, and he had big dreams too. They supported each other through studies and challenges after university. Michael and Emma married. They wanted to build a future together. Michael started working for a company, and Emma began her own small business. Life was not always easy, but they were happy. Back at the office building where Emma's father worked, the mood was often tense. The CEO, Richard Grant, was known for being very tough. He expected everything to be perfect and did not tolerate mistakes. Many employees were afraid to speak up or make errors. Mr. Collins always tried to stay out of trouble. He did his work quietly and with care. But he sometimes worried about how the people in power treated others. He hoped that one day things would change for the better. Emma loved her family and worked hard to help them. She never forgot the long nights her father spent cleaning the offices. She wanted to show him that his work was important and that she could make a difference in the world. One afternoon, Emma decided to visit her father during his break. She wanted to spend time with him and see the place where he worked. The office was busy, but she felt proud to be there. She smiled as she watched her father cleaning a hallway. At that moment, Emma noticed the CEO, Richard Grant, walking by. Richard was tall, with a serious face. He did not smile or greet anyone. Emma felt a little nervous, but stood quietly. Richard did not know who Emma was. To him, she was just another visitor in the big building. Emma hoped that someday people like Richard would see everyone with respect, no matter their job. This was the start of a day that would change Emma's life. Forever, she did not know it yet, but soon her world would be turned upside down in a way she'd never imagined. That afternoon, Emma was visiting the office to see her father during his break. She felt happy to be there with him. The office was large and filled with people working hard. Some were at their desks, typing on computers. Others were talking quietly in meeting rooms. Emma watched everything with interest. Her father smiled when he saw her. "Hello, Emma," he said. "I'm glad you came." Emma smiled back. "I wanted to spend some time with you. Like seeing where you work." Mr. Collins nodded. "It's not much, but I do my best. The people here can be busy, but the building needs to be clean and safe." Emma looked around and noticed something different. The atmosphere felt tense. People were quiet and serious. No one was laughing or talking loudly. It seemed like a place where people were careful about what they said and did. Suddenly, Emma saw someone walking quickly toward them. It was Richard Grant, the Billionaire CEO. He looked very serious, almost angry. His face was tight, and his eyes seemed sharp. Emma felt nervous. She had heard stories about him being a hard man, but she had never seen him before. Richard stopped near where Emma and her father were standing. He looked at Emma without smiling. Emma kept quiet, hoping he would just walk away. But Richard did something that shocked everyone. He grabbed a soda cup that someone had left nearby and poured it right on Emma's clothes. The cold soda spilled over her shirt and pants. Emma gasped and stepped back, surprised and hurt. People nearby stopped what they were doing. Some stared in shock. Others whispered quietly.
Mine?
He wanted to say something, but he felt frozen with anger and fear. Emma's face turned red, not just from the cold soda, but from the shame of being treated like that in front of so many people. She tried to wipe the soda off her clothes, but it was spreading fast. Her heart beat quickly. Richard did not say a word. He turned and walked away without looking back. His steps were firm and quick. No one dared to stop him. The janitor, Emma's father, stood still, his hands clenched into fists. He wanted to protect his daughter, to tell Richard that what he did was wrong. But he knew it would not help. Richard was the boss, powerful and untouchable. Some employees looked uncomfortable, but did not speak up. The fear of losing their jobs kept them quiet. Emma could see sadness and worry in their eyes. Emma took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. She knew she could not cry in front of everyone. She looked at her father. "It's okay," she whispered. "Let's just go." Mr. Collins nodded and gently took her hand. They walked away slowly, leaving the crowded hallway behind. Outside the office, Emma's mind raced with questions. Why did Richard do that? What had she done wrong? She felt small and helpless, but also angry inside. Her father tried to comfort her. "Emma, I am sorry you had to go through this. No one should be treated this way." Emma wiped her eyes. "I know, Dad, but it happened. What can we do?" Mr. Collins shook his head. "Not much here. The people at the top don't listen to people like us." Emma felt a heavy weight on her heart. She thought about the future. How could she change things if people like Richard were in charge? That night, Emma told Michael about what happened. Michael listened carefully. He was surprised and upset. "This is not right," he said. "No one should be treated like that, especially by a CEO." Emma nodded. "I don't know what to do. I feel embarrassed and sad." Michael held her hand. "We will find a way. I promise." The next day, news about the soda incident spread quietly in the company. Some people whispered in offices and hallways. Others shared the story with friends outside. The story reached Michael, who was the CEO of a different company. He had recently returned from working abroad and was full of new ideas. Michael knew Richard Grant's company was a competitor. He also knew about Richard's strict and sometimes cruel style. But hearing what happened to Emma, made Michael angry in a new way. He wanted to protect his wife and stand up for what was right. Michael started to make plans. He called his trusted team to discuss how to respond. "We cannot let this go," he said. "We have to show that such behavior is not acceptable." His team agreed. They worked quickly, studying the business and finding ways to make a bold move. Michael knew that simply talking would not change Richard's ways. He needed to act. Meanwhile, Emma tried to focus on her own work and life. She did not want to be defined by that day. She wanted to move forward with strength and hope. Her father also worked hard. Even though he felt hurt, he continued his job with dignity. He believed that respect should come to everyone, no matter their role. The company where Richard was CEO remained quiet for a while. Richard acted as if nothing had happened. But inside, some employees felt uneasy. They saw the damage that one person's actions could cause. Michael's company prepared for a surprise. Using careful planning and business strategy, they announced a plan to acquire Richard Grant's company. The news shocked many. No one expected such a quick and powerful response. This move meant Michael and his team would soon control the company where Emma's father worked. They promised to bring fairness, respect, and new leadership. Emma felt a mix of emotions. She was nervous but hopeful. She believed that things could finally change for the better. Her father looked at her and smiled. "Maybe now people like us will be seen and heard." Emma held her father's hand tightly. "Yes, Dad. This is the beginning of something new." The soda incident had been painful and humiliating, but it also became the start of a story about courage, justice, and hope. Ready to face the challenges ahead, knowing that respect and kindness could change lives? Michael sat in his office thinking deeply about the situation. He knew what had happened to Emma was not just wrong, it was a symbol of a larger problem. Richard Grant's way of running his company showed a lack of respect for people, especially those who worked hard but had less power. Michael was determined to change this. Michael called his closest advisors and explained everything. "This is not just about Emma," he said. "It's about the way people are treated in that company. We have a chance to make things better, not only for Emma and her father, but for everyone who works there." His advisors listened carefully. They knew Michael was a strong leader with clear ideas. After long discussions, they agreed to take bold action. Michael planned to acquire Richard Grant's company. It was a risky move, but Michael believed it was necessary. Meanwhile, Emma tried to stay positive. She continued her own work and supported. Her father, Mr. Collins, worked late into the night, cleaning the offices and keeping things tidy. He felt proud to do his job well, even if it was sometimes hard. But the atmosphere in the old company was changing. Employees talked quietly about what had happened. Some were afraid of Richard's power, but others hoped for new leadership. The soda incident had opened their eyes to the need for respect and kindness in the workplace. Michael worked hard to gather support from investors and business partners. He showed them a clear plan to improve the company's culture and performance, promised to bring fairness, kindness, and opportunity to everyone. One day the news broke. Michael's company had successfully bought Richard Grant's company. The announcement surprised many people in the business world. The story of the janitor's daughter who had been mistreated became famous. People admired Michael's courage and vision. After the acquisition, Michael immediately took action. He called a meeting with all employees, including janitors, managers, and executives. He spoke kindly, but firmly. "This company will be a place where everyone is valued," he said. "No one will be treated unfairly. We'll work together to build a better future." Richard Grant was asked to leave the company. Many senior managers who had supported Richard's harsh ways were also dismissed. Michael wanted fresh leaders who cared about people and respect. Emma watched these changes with hope. She saw her father smiling more, talking with his co-workers, and feeling proud of his work. The new leadership brought new energy to the office. People started to help each other and feel safer at work. Michael and Emma also worked on their personal dreams. They talked about starting programs to support families like theirs, people who worked hard but were often forgotten. They wanted to create opportunities for education and growth. The community noticed the difference. News stories told of how Michael had changed the company culture. Workers were happier, and the company's success grew. and he said this was a true example of how leadership with kindness could make a big impact. Emma felt proud to be part of this change. She remembered the painful moment when soda was poured on her, but now she saw it as a turning point. It was a moment that showed how much needed to change and how people like Michael and herself could make a difference. Her father, Mr. Collins, was invited to share his story with new employees. He spoke about dignity, hard work, and the importance of respect. His words inspired others, showing that every person, no matter their job, deserves kindness. Michael and Emma's journey was not easy. They faced challenges from competitors and skeptics, but their commitment never wavered. They believed that a company should be more than just profits. It should be a place where people grow, feel safe, and are treated fairly. Slowly, the company began to heal. Old fears disappeared. New ideas and teamwork flourished. Employees helped each other, and the office became a happier place. Michael's leadership showed that respect and kindness were not weaknesses, but strengths. Emma and Michael also supported charitable causes in the town. They helped schools, supported families in need, and created scholarships for young students. Their efforts made the whole community stronger. One day, Emma stood in the same hallway where the soda incident had happened. She smiled, feeling calm and confident. The office was clean and bright, but more importantly, it was filled with respect and hope. She thought about the journey, how a painful moment had led to change. Emma knew that no matter where life took her, she would always remember the importance of kindness, courage, and standing up for her. After Michael took control of the company, the changes began quickly. The employees from the lowest to the highest levels could feel the difference right away. Michael wanted the company to be a place where people felt respected and valued, no matter their job title or background. This was very different from the old days under Richard Grant, when fear and strict rules made many people unhappy. One of Michael's first steps was to hold meetings with all the staff. He listened carefully to their stories, concerns, and ideas. Many employees, including janitors, secretaries, and office workers, shared how they had felt ignored or treated unfairly in the past. Michael promised them that their voices would now be heard. Emma watched proudly as her husband worked tirelessly to bring real change. She knew that this was not easy. Changing a large company's culture took time and effort. But Michael was patient and kind, always reminding everyone that respect and teamwork were the most important. Mr. Collins, Emma's father, also felt the change. Before, he had been quiet and kept to himself. Now, he smiled more often and greeted people warmly. His coworkers noticed that the office was friendlier and more open. Even small acts, like saying hello in the hallway, has made a big difference. Michael introduced training programs to teach managers how to lead with kindness and understanding. He believed that a leader should support their team, not scare or control them. The managers began to learn how to communicate better and to appreciate the hard work of every employee. Slowly, the company's success grew, not just in money, but in spirit. Employees worked harder because they felt happy and safe. They helped each other instead of competing or hiding mistakes out of fear. The office became a place of cooperation and trust. Emma also started a small program within the company to help families of employees. She organized workshops on education, health, and financial planning. Many families who once struggled found new hope and support. Emma felt proud to give back to the community that had supported her family. One important change Michael made was to improve working conditions for janitors and other support staff. He increased their pay and gave them better tools and equipment. He believed that these workers were the backbone of the company and deserved respect. The story of the janitor's daughter who was humiliated became well known outside the company. People admired how Michael and Emma turned a painful moment into a powerful lesson. They showed that kindness and courage could change even the hardest situations. Michael often spoke at events about leadership and respect, said true success is not just about profits, but about how we treat each other. A company is strong when everyone feels valued. Emma became a role model for many young women. She shared her journey from a humble background to being part of a company's transformation. She encouraged others to believe in themselves and to stand up for fairness. Meanwhile, Richard Grant's story took a different turn. After losing his position, he stayed out of the public eye. Some said he had learned a hard lesson about power and humility. Others saw his downfall as a warning that no one is above. Respect. Emma and Michael's life together was full of hope and purpose. They continued to support each other and their community. They believed that with kindness and hard work, anything was possible. One day, Emma visited the local school where she had once studied. She talked to students about dreams and courage. She told them her story and the importance of standing up for what is right. The students listened with wide eyes, inspired by her words. Emma smiled, knowing that her journey was helping others find their own paths. At home, Emma and Michael talked about the future. They dreamed of expanding their programs and helping more people. They wanted to build a world where no one would ever feel small or invisible. Emma thought about the difficult day when soda was poured on her clothes. She remembered the fear and shame, but also the strength it gave her. That moment, painful as it was, led to a new beginning for many people. She felt grateful for the support of her family and Michael. Together, they had turned hurt into hope. The company continued to grow and thrive under Michael's leadership. The story of respect and kindness became part of its identity. Employees worked happily, knowing that they were valued. Emma's father, Mr. Collins, often told his friends how proud he was. He said, "This company is no longer just a place to work. It is a place where we belong." Emma smiled as she listened. She knew that real change came from the courage to stand up and the kindness to lift others. Her story was not just about one moment, but about a journey. A journey from pain to power, from fear to freedom, and it was a journey that would inspire many for years to come. Time passed, and Emma and Michael's story became well known not just in their town, but far beyond. People talked about how a simple act of kindness and courage could change even the hardest situations. Emma's journey from being hurt by a powerful man to standing strong with her husband's support inspired many. The company that Michael now led continued to grow. But more important than its success in business was the success in changing the way people treated each other. The office was no longer a place of fear, but a place of respect, where everyone felt safe and valued. Emma's father, Mr. Collins, often told his friends how much his life had changed. Before, he had felt invisible, just a janitor cleaning floors. Now, he felt proud. The company recognized his hard work, and his colleagues treated him with kindness. It made a big difference in his life. Emma and Michael worked together to create new programs. They helped families like theirs who had once struggled but now found hope. They supported education, healthcare, and community events. Their efforts made the town stronger and happier. One day, Emma was invited to speak at a large event about leadership and respect. She stood on the stage and looked at the audience. Her heart was full of emotion. She spoke clearly and kindly, sharing her story. She told them about the day when soda was poured on her, how it had hurt her deeply. But she also talked about the strength she found afterward, the strength to forgive, to stand up, and to help. Others, Emma said, "We all face hard moments in life, but it is how we respond that shows who we really are." I learned that kindness and courage can change not only our lives, but the lives of many around us. The audience listened quietly, many wiping tears from their eyes. Emma's words touched their hearts. Michael watched from the side, proud of his wife. Together, they had turned pain into purpose. Meanwhile, the old CEO, Richard Grant, lived a quieter life. Some said he had changed, learning to be humbler. Others saw his story as a lesson about power, that true strength comes from respect, not control. Emma and Michael often talked about the future. They dreamed of continuing their work, helping more people and building communities where everyone felt valued. They knew that life would bring challenges, but they were ready. Their journey had taught them that with kindness, courage, and support, anything was possible. At home, Emma looked at her family and smiled. Her little brother was growing up, and she hoped he would live in a world where no one was treated unfairly. She thought about her father's hard work, her husband's leadership, and the power of standing up for what is right. Emma believed that everyone had the ability to make a difference, no matter where they came from. Her story was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is light, and that light comes from hope, kindness, and the courage to change. And so, Emma and Michael's journey continued, shining as a beacon of hope and respect for all.